This is Capital Games, I'm The Wiz, and this is the Weekly Dividend for Friday, May 19th, 2023. Thank you for joining me. If you are familiar with the channel, if you've watched the last few videos, you may have noticed that I have changed the type of content that I'm doing right now. I am doing general gaming news, and with that will probably mean also probably a name change and other things that I might be changing along the way. But I will continue to call this the Weekly Dividend until I find a new name or when the whole channel just renames itself. So, bear in mind, things are changing. But I do appreciate that you guys sticking with me and coming on board throughout all of this. All week I have been playing Curse to Golf, and I played another hour of this. More like an hour, 45 minutes to an hour of this throughout the week. And I'm going to play this on the Weekly Dividend, and I think this is the thing I'm going to start doing all week, is that I'm going to play a new game every week, and then at the end of the week on the Weekly Dividend, I will decide my final thoughts of the game as I played it. Now, I'm not going to count this as a review, so I'm not going to give it a review score, but I will give my general thoughts of the game itself as I'm playing it and as I'm discussing the topics from the week. Also, another thing that's changed as well, since I have changed the format of what I do on the channel and on the podcast, is basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to recap some of the big stories that happen throughout the week, and then when that happens, and then when I'm done with that, I'm going to then do the stories that we haven't discussed in the last few days. So, if you are on the podcast, I should probably do this on the podcast as well and announce this on Monday. But Monday and Wednesday, the recaps will be on the podcast on the channel. And then on Friday, the Weekly Dividend will just be on the YouTube channel. And I will probably find another name for that when that happens. So, let's talk a little bit about Curse to Golf here. I've been playing this all week, on and off. I've put about 3 hours into the game, and I do like it. I think it's fun. I do have some complaints, and I will get to them in a second. I've already said one complaint that I already had when it came to this game, and it's that the speed of the cursor as you're shooting is a little too fast for my liking. But again, that could be something that within time I can get used to. But yeah, but I think that's still got kind of valid criticism on this end. So I pressed B here, and I have to look through what what I can do in the shot here. Here's an issue that I have, okay? And again, some might think this is not a big deal, others might. In golf games specifically, I'm talking Tiger Woods, Hot Shots, and all the like. When you can do a shot, when you're aiming, and this is used on 3D ones, but 2Ds do this well at times, you are able to do the power, or you're able to, before you do the power, aim your shot and know exactly where it's going to land if you put it in full power or a specific power set. This game doesn't do this. So when I am doing this, I have to rely on the fact that I know what the aim is going to be and where it's going to land just by remembering what I looked at when I was looking at before I did the power shot. Now, most of the time this is not that big of a deal. But there are some difficult shots in this game where literally what I'm doing is going, wait, I'll show you what I do, okay? I have to go, okay, back, here, okay. Which way was that again? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, well, one more time? Okay, and that gets a little annoying. There should be a zoom out function or something, a function to where I am at this stage right here, and I should be able to zoom back forward and see where it's going to land. Now, I just press the right stick here, and it takes me to a certain, I guess a certain distance, which is fine for an iron and it's fine for a wedge. But when it's a driver, it doesn't help at all. So the right stick can only let you do this. If I were to press B, which would give the camera up to look around, it just cancels the shot. So I could just do that. But then that makes it a little more complicated and a little annoying. You just want to get to the shot and get to the next one. So I'm going to shoot my shot here, and I'm probably going to land rough because I'm not in an optimal spot. Oh, okay. Well, I provided spin, so I took care of that. Okay. And I know what to do here. So, other than the fact that this is in 2D, the unique thing about this game are the ace cards. I'm going to show you that in a second. Now, the point of the game is to not be under par or over par like you do in a basic golf game. The number on the bottom right here dictates how many shots I have left until I am done, and I lost. So I have to reach that. I have to reach the hole before it hits 0. So I have 6 more shots to do this. However, the thing that the game does differently is they have what's called ace cards. Now, if I pull the right trigger, I pull up my ace cards. There are some simple ones. There is one that gives you an extra shot to the par score that you have. There's mulligans that let you rewind to your previous shot. And then there's this thing called practice shot, which you can just do another shot and it just brings it back to where you were, which honestly I find kind of pointless. And then there's this one. There's U-turn. You can activate in flight, and then it will change the direction of the ball mid-flight. That's interesting. It's a little squirrely, though. So I very rarely use it. So these are interesting aspects of the game, but the problem I have with it is that they're not that interesting. See, when you play these types of games, these roguelike games, okay, and I kind of debate whether this is a roguelike. Oh no! Oh no! And see, again, I've been playing this for nearly 3 hours now, and I still have issues with that aiming. Now, you might say to yourself, Wiz, you just suck at the game. Fair. That might be fair. But I still think there should be... How about this? Maybe there is an ace card that allows you to slow down the aim of the cursor. Maybe that is a way that that the developers could have met halfway with somebody like me who might not be the greatest gamer out there. So there is that aspect as well. Yep, gotta do that. Okay. Oh boy. Okay. So here's another issue that I have too. I remember this course. Okay? I remember this a couple times. So, I think this is designated as a roguelike, but as far as I recall, one of the main things with roguelikes is that the things that you do have to be procedurally generated to a certain extent. And I don't think that's the case in this game. I think a good amount of the stuff here is predetermined. Which, for a puzzle game, that's fine. But when you're expecting roguelike elements where you're expecting a challenge and a different thing every time that you come back, it's a little disappointing. Which means you can then, more than likely, do your thing, beat the level, remember the level, and come back to it and know exactly what to do every time. Which makes the gameplay a little stale as the time goes on. Which, okay, may not be that big of a deal to you. But part of the reasons why I like roguelikes a lot, and why I'm a roguelike sicko, is that it allows that randomness, which gives you extra challenge. With this game, as soon as you know how to defeat the puzzle, you've defeated it, and you just do it over and over and over again. Now, I also might be wrong. It might be procedurally generated, but then the procedural generation isn't as diverse as it should be. So, yeah, I don't know where to take that on that end. So I have a little bit of an issue in that aspect. Here is the shops. It's called Eternity, which, clever, okay. And you can straight up buy specific cards for a nominal price, or you can get the bronze, silver, and I think there was a platinum and gold booster packs worth more money. And I think the differences is the type of cards and the amount of cards that you get. So I'm just going to get a silver right here. And then you get, yeah. And a lot of these cards aren't really that amazing. Like, this gives you 2 extra shots. Okay. This stops you, when you press the button and it hits the ground, it just stops. It doesn't bounce. It just hits the ground and over. And then there's Explode. When you've seen TNT stuff on the course that I just showed you on the last one, this makes them explode. That's it. That's all it does. So, yeah. The ability to have like creative outcomes and to have interesting power-ups that makes the game a little more dynamic is not really here in this. Again, another disappointing aspect of the game. Although I do like the game, I want to make it clear. I like the gameplay of this game. I think for that it's pretty fun. But, you know, the more I play it, the more I want to play an actual golf game. Like, I want to play Tiger Woods, or I want to play Everybody's Golf, something like that. And, you know, maybe that's fine for a game to be like, oh, it reminds me of these games. I kind of want to go play those games. That's fine, but I kind of want to be able to, when I'm playing a game, want to be playing this game too. And I'm at a point right now where if I were to stop after I'm done with this week, I think I'd be fine. I think I'd be completely okay with the fact that I'd be finished with this game entirely. Because at this point, from what I've seen, and again, I haven't reached the other levels of the game, so it could be that the other levels are much more interesting than where I'm at right now. Like, I haven't gotten to the 18 holes of these areas. Those other areas could be interesting, and could be a lot more dynamic, and a lot more creative. And that's all true. Like, that could be the case. But you want to be able to show that off early. And if I'm stuck here, and I'm having a decent time, but I have other options to play, it's going to be really hard for me to justify putting more time into this game. And I know there's some people who are like, oh, well, you just, you know, maybe it's another 2 or 3 hours. What's so bad about that? I'm sorry, but I'm at a point now where if I've played this for about 4 hours and I feel like I'm done, I'm done. And that's it. I'm not giving any more time. It's the game's responsibility to say, hey, this game is worthwhile playing. You're having fun for these first 2 hours, right? Imagine what it'll be in 20 hours. So, in that aspect, I think this game kind of fails in that end. Okay. So, I'm not into giving scores when I'm not reviewing something. And again, I'm not considering this a review because I haven't beaten the game. I haven't put a lot of time in the game. But I would say in the 3 hours that I have played this, 3.5 hours now that I've played this, it's a good time. I did enjoy my time with it. But would I recommend this to other people? If you like golf games and you're just curious about it, get it on a sale. That's what I would tell you. Other than that, I mean, I think it's kind of safe to skip this. But if you like what this game is doing, and you like golf games, and you just want a different type of game, then honestly, I think that's fair. I think you might enjoy this. But I would still say wait for a sale. This has been on sale now for, I think, $13. and that's how much I picked it up for. I kind of wish I waited for a deeper sale, to be absolutely honest. Like, I would say when it hits $7 or $8, that might be a decent price. Yeah, see, yeah, and this is one of the this is one of the problems I have with this too. I don't feel that some of these, especially the shot I just did right now, I don't think that was a problem with my skill, really. Again, I'm not the best at these types of games, but I don't think that was a problem with my skill per se. I think that was a problem with the fact that the game has a weird way of you selecting your shots. And now I'm at my final shot, so now I have to take one of the cards I have and add 2 shots. And that's kind of it with that ace card. And you kind of notice, too, that I'm not using the other ace cards, really. There's kind of a good reason why. They're just not that interesting. And this level specifically, I don't see a strategic need to actually use them. I mean, U-turn to me just seems like a card that I would use if I screw up. So then I would have to utilize that card and predict when I'm going to screw up in a shot. Which, you know, there could be some difficult shots where I feel like I might do that, but that also isn't very fun. That isn't really dynamic to where I'm having interesting shots and interesting things happening in the puzzle aspects of this game. Okay, I'll just wedge it in here. Yeah. That's the other problem I have with this. If I want to gauge how much power I need, I have to hit the power button, see how the curve goes, and then if it's like, oh, too much, then I'm going to have to back out, try it again, back out, try it again. This is a game that probably need another quality assurance pass-through, or somebody to come in and go, you know, there are better ways to do this. The game itself is a good idea. I do like what it's trying to do, but I think the execution needed a lot more work on this. That's my feeling of this game specifically. Yeah, like, look at these specials, all right? Time stop. The ball stops at mid-flight. Scatter shot. It turns into 3 balls mid-flight. Okay. And then you can choose the ball where you want it to land, which it sounds neat at first. But then when you realize the game really expects you to be accurate in order to actually get through some of these puzzles, it's not as useful as you think it is. It's neat, but it's nowhere near as useful. And then mini rocket ball, it turns into a mini rocket. It's slow, but it's good in cornering. I don't like this one very much, so I don't use it. That's kind of the thing I have the problem with. These ace cards are supposed to make things a lot more interesting. And the only ones I use is the add shots one. That's it. That's all I use. Which is kind of a disappointment. So again, I think the game's fun. But if I'm honest, after I'm done with this now, I'm probably not playing it for a while. This is a game that I think if I am bored or let's say I'm waiting to talk to Zero about something, or we're waiting for the podcast, and I needed to kill 15 minutes. This game could be fine. I could have a little bit of fun for 15 minutes, which is fine. There are games that are good like that, and are good types of games to play for small bursts of time. That's perfectly fine. But on that case, if that's all this is, the price should be, I think, a lot lower, which is why I think maybe $7, $8 is probably a better type of price for this game. Because then you'll play this game, I don't know. How I would probably play this game is, like I said, waiting for a friend, or I'm talking to a friend, and I'm killing time while talking to him. And while we're talking, or while I'm waiting for him, I'm playing this for 15 minutes. I'm not really doing much other than just hitting a few balls. Oh, jeez, I should have looked at. Another problem, okay? Now, you could be fair and say, Wiz, you should have looked down to see what was down there. True. But then, you have to constantly do this at every shot. I don't see the problem of having this zoomed out like this. Like one and then to shoot like that, so you know where it is. I don't see the issue with that because, yes, you'll see more of the place, but you still have to judge your shot, and then you still have to do the things you need to do, and that requires skill. Having this doesn't make you more skillful. It just gives you more information. And I think a game that, unless the challenge is to have less information, which I don't think this game is. I think the game wants to give the information, but the fact that your default is here is kind of a problem. But again, I should have looked down knowing that that's what was going to happen. So, my bad on that. I will freely admit that was my bad, but I still think... Oh, come on. Hit that ball. There we go. I still think that it would probably be better if the camera was zoomed out more by default. And this is not like a graphical showcase or something. Oh, God. No. Oh, good. Yeah, this game is not a graphical showcase, so there's no reason to be like, well, what if, like, they want you to appreciate the art style? Art style's fine, but if it hurts the gameplay, I think I could care less. Yeah, see, again, I didn't even know this hole was here. But yeah. Again, the game's fun, but I have a lot of issues with it. That if a friend were to ask me, hey, should I buy this? Deep sale, I would say. Like $7-8 is what I would pay for. Okay, so now we've gotten through the Weekly Gaming Spotlight, Cursed to Hell. I am going to talk about the news that happened throughout the week. Now, I've talked about a bunch of news during the other wrap-ups. So let's talk about some recaps, okay? We're going to recap the big stories that happened throughout the week. And the first thing that happened on Monday was the fact that the EU approved Activision Blizzard's buyout to Microsoft, and that the CMA respects the decision that they made, but they feel that was incorrect. I mentioned it on Monday, and I don't think anything's changed in this aspect. That it is interesting that they approved of it. I'm not entirely surprised that they did, but does this stop the CMA and the FTC from continuing their lawsuits and continuing to challenge the buyout? No, not really. It doesn't do that at all. There ain't no damn way I'm doing this. Or am I? I might be. Let's zoom out. Okay, you know what? I think I will, actually. So yeah, I mean, this is not going to change their minds right away. What the hell am I thinking? This is not going to change the CMA's mind. Clearly, they put out a tweet saying they don't agree with it, even though they respect the EU and their decision. What I think will change the minds of both the FTC and the CMA is if politicians get involved in this. If they make it a political thing. And so far in the US specifically, there have been talks on Capitol Hill regarding this and how it's interesting that Sony has all these exclusives for Japanese-made games that sell that Microsoft can't have. So if we and I think one congressperson literally said it. If we are going to have a problem with Microsoft doing that, then we should have a problem with Sony doing that as well, garnering exclusives to those types of games, which I think is perfectly fair in this end. But I also think that the U.S. government and Congress is probably not going to do anything about this. They're not going to force Sony's hand into doing this because when it comes to business, both sides of the government does not want to get involved, except for a few politicians that do want to and end up going nowhere in that. But for the most part, Congress wants to stay out of business way. Essentially, they want to be pro-business, and they want to basically let them do what they have to do unless they have to get involved. They choose not to get involved because, businesses are the biggest donators to all of those politicians. So, yeah, it's not really altruistic, but it's the truth. This has little to do with the fact that it's an ideological thing. It has everything to do with the fact that all these businesses are big donators to a lot of these politicians. And I'm willing to bet Sony does not donate to a lot of politicians. I completely forgot that there was no shops left. Wow. So I would say if Congress gets seriously involved, or let's say Parliament in the UK gets involved and said, now wait a minute, hold up. Why are we not letting this go through if we're letting Sony do all this other stuff? You might see one of two things happen. Either the CMA or the FTC just pulls back and says, oh, okay, we're withdrawing. Or if this does get canceled and it doesn't go through, you might see these regulatory boards get involved to a certain extent, saying, now, hold on, if this is the case then we need to prevent Sony from doing all these exclusives. Do I think that is going to happen? No. I do not. But if anybody is going to get hurt by this, I think in the end it will be Sony, ironically, because Sony, again, is a Japanese company, okay? And Sony, I don't think has any government contracts. I don't think they have anything that the government uses on their end. Sony, I think, just does TVs, electronics, and game systems. I'm pretty sure someone will say something else here. Or standard electronics. Nothing that the government can get any benefit from. Whereas with Microsoft, they donate computers, they do all this other stuff in the government as well. There's contracts with Microsoft. This is kind of why I thought that if there was going to be pushback, it was going to be minor, and then someone in the government will step in and go, you're letting this go through. I don't care what you say, FTC. I still think that's a possibility, but it looks like there might be a little finagling that needs to be done. I still think this deal is going through. I'm just less sure about it. It is my thing here. I'm going to hit the wall, aren't I? Oh, good. That was good. Okay. So yeah, nothing else happened with that this week. But it's interesting, though. I mean, I'm a little surprised. Like I said when it happened, I'm surprised that it was the CMA that said no to it a little bit. And I'm very surprised for the reasons why. And I think for those reasons, there's going to be reasons that the CMA might just pull out and just say, you know what, we'll let it go through. So we'll see on that. But I think also the FTC might just turn around and say, we don't want either, but for different reasons. And that's going to be messy for Microsoft. So we will see what happens as time goes on. There's more to come, so we'll see. Okay, we got another story to recap here. Wednesday, it was announced that Overwatch 2 has canceled its co-op PvE mode. This is the mode that had a leveling up mechanic, skill trees, and everything, where you can customize the heroes the way you want it, while going against CPU with a bunch of people online as well. This was the big mode people were excited for, that a lot of people felt justified justified having an Overwatch 2, because they felt, we're going to get this brand new mode, so when that comes, that's going to completely justify that purchase. Well, a lot of people who felt that way now feel cheated. Like, big time. They feel like that, that they've been lied to, essentially, by Activision Blizzard. And you know what? I don't blame them. I don't think that is an unreasonable feeling in this end. So yeah, because they showed it off in 2018. I think they've said multiple times that they're still working on it, it'll be coming out soon, yada yada yada. And then to all of a sudden just straight up cancel it is kind of shitty. Now, I know a lot of people have already said, game development's hard. These things happen. You shouldn't get mad at the developers. And I do agree. You shouldn't get mad at the developers. But at that point, if you are upset by this, stop playing. Stop playing. Teach them a lesson. It's like, oh, so you're not going to give me the mode that I want? Fine, I'm done. Bye. You lost me as a customer. I mean, my feeling is, with people specifically, when it comes to being upset, is that tactically they always do the wrong thing. Attacking people for these things is wrong. I still believe that. Although I also think that developers don't help themselves in these situations, because, again, and I'm going to... Jesus Christ. I'm going to keep saying this. The more money someone has to spend to actually... I'm deck locked? Oh, no. Oh. The more money someone has to spend to interface with your product, to use it, and to enjoy aspects of it, the more likely it is... Yeah, I'm done. Oh, okay. The more likely it is they're going to get upset when something changes or something doesn't go right. Like, for example, do you see people get upset and attack developers when a $20 game isn't very good, or when a $20 game is broken? No, I barely see it. I almost never see it. Like, even when, like, a game like, what, oh no. Like, for example, like, Wind, are you serious? Like, for example, sorry. Rocket League. Rocket League was $20 before it came out. Now, Rocket League didn't have a lot of problems, but there were a couple of problems when it came out that you have got to be kidding me. I'm as good as dead in this one. Yeah. Oh, God. Okay. So, that game had a few problems at launch that need to be ironed out. But I didn't hear a whole community uprising and sending dick pics and harassing developers, and no. Because it was a $20 game, and they also felt that the developers were going to take care of the issue. Now, take that game and make it free to play. Well, it's already free to play now, but take a game where you have to spend not only $7 to play the game, but then there are microtransactions that you have to buy in order to enjoy the game. that is an entirely different dynamic. Now people feel cheated. Now people feel like they're upset and they're being lied to. And with the way the microtransactions are in Overwatch 2, I can expect a lot of people being, wait, hold up a second. I spent already $60 on this game. $60 more than I spent on the first one. And it's the same game, but I was promised this mode, and now you're telling me it's not coming? Like, on that end, I could be perfectly understandable about how upset they are with that. Does it justify the harassment? Absolutely not. But on that end, what I would tell gamers and people when that happens is, you want to punish them? Don't buy it. Okay? You can harass them and all you want, and it's not going to do a damn thing. But if suddenly no one plays their game, only hit left. So, if the game is broken, or they promise something and it's not coming, harassing is not going to help. Okay? What will help, essentially... Oh no, it's going right back, isn't it? Should have thought about that. Yeah, harassing is not going to help. It's going to just get people to feel bad for them and go, oh god, these poor developers. Why can't I move? Okay, so the curse says only hit left. Oh, you can only hit... See, when I see only hit left, I thought it means you'll only have one hit left. But what that really means is it will only let you hit to the left. Okay. But anyway, harassing developers is not a good idea. Because, one, it doesn't help your cause, and two, it makes people feel bad for them, which they should feel bad about in that end. No, what you should basically say then is, fine, I'm not spending any more money in your game, I'm not playing it anymore, goodbye, I'm done. And then what happens after certain people now do that? The game has to shut down, they lose their jobs, and they essentially have to do something else at that point. I mean, I hate to be... I don't think this is mean to say, but if you're not satisfied, don't support them. Don't play the game. That's all you gotta do. Like, if they are pissing you off and they're not doing what you think is the right thing, or the thing that justifies the purchase for you, instead of harassing, instead of calling names, instead of threatening them, just stop playing. Play something else. That's all you gotta do. That's going to hurt more than anything else. Like, seriously, that is going to hurt them more. Because then they have to think of, oh no, we need to get these people back. What do we gotta do? Oh, we can do this, this, and this. Oh, well, if we don't do this, I mean, we have to shut down the game. We're all gonna lose our jobs. Oh my god. Like, don't make them fear getting harassed. Make them fear losing their jobs. That is what you do. That is how you get your way in that situation. And that is your power as a consumer. If you do not like it, do not buy it, do not play it. That is the chief power you have, and that is a big power that you have. And you are able to do that, and that is perfectly fine, perfectly understandable. Anybody, I mean, nobody wants to see somebody get fired, but if you're not doing what your customer is asking, and what your customer wants, I mean, what other options are there at that point? And if they're not listening, the last thing you should be doing is, oh, well, I mean, I guess I just gotta sit here and take it. No, you just play something else. That's all you gotta do. That's all you have to do. Play something else. You know the thing that people say, oh, maybe it's just not for you. That's perfectly fine. Maybe it isn't for you anymore. There are plenty of games that I leave, I dip, I play, I leave, I dip back out, and when it improves, I come back. And that is the clearest sign for any developer to see if they're doing a good job. If they're doing a good job, you stay. If they're not, you leave. That's it. don't say, you can say, hey, I don't like the direction this is going in. I think you should change this. And if they say, go fuck yourself, then fine. You say the same thing, leave, and then when they're out of the job and their game shut down because their publisher can't justify it being run, you have the last laugh. I really don't understand people who feel the need to harass and threaten these developers. Because in the end, what does it do when you harass them on Twitter and you threaten them? All it says to them is, this guy's crazy, I'm going to ignore them. And then that's it. It's over. It's done. Just don't play the game. That's all you got to do. That is the thing that they're going to fear most. You not playing the game. That is it. That's all you got to do. Okay. Rant over. So let's move on to the other topic, that the story recap here. Tears of the Kingdom reaches 10 million in sales in 3 days. Like I said on the podcast, I'm going to stop doing pontification for sales. Clearly, I'm not very good at it. I might do it every once in a while, but I'm starting to think that it might be... Again, I'm not good at this. I think this might actually beat Breath of the Wild in sales in 2 years. It's certainly possible. We'll see, though. But yeah, oh no. But yeah, Nintendo must be thrilled with these sales. Let me get this next shot, and we're gonna get into the other stories that happened the past couple days. Oh my god. Okay. Next story coming up. These are the stories that we haven't discussed throughout the podcast here. So Take-Two had an earnings call this past week, and there was a lot of choice things that were talked about during the earnings call. The first thing is that Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick says that groundbreaking games will drive a big sales jump for the next fiscal year. Their next fiscal year starts in April of 24 through March of 25. March 2024, April 2024 to March 2025. So the only groundbreaking title I can think of really is Grand Theft Auto 6. So if people are starting to think that Grand Theft Auto 6 might be coming out next year, I think you might be right on that one. I think it will too. Or maybe something revolutionary is happening in NBA 2K. I don't know what that might be, but I think this is a sly announcement on their earnings call that's basically, without saying it to their investors, that Grand Theft Auto 6 is almost done. I think that's what this means. Now, with that being said, Rockstar is still a developer that can turn around and say, hey, I know you said that this is coming out in X time, but we still need more time. And Take-Two is going to have to say, fine, because Grand Theft Auto 5 and, well, Grand Theft Auto in general is their big moneymaker. Like, it's huge. Yeah, I mean, the NBA 2K series makes a good amount of money for them, but it's nothing compared to Grand Theft Auto 5. I totally forgot about the last shot again. So yeah, this makes it sound like Grand Theft Auto is coming next fiscal year. That's how I interpret it. Next story. Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick believes mid-console gen refreshes are likely, and they will continue to support last-gen consoles. Now, I am not surprised by this development. I kind of expected to, but my question is going to be, what will these console makers do to justify the mid-refresh? Because they can't... Because the one thing they cannot do is make their consoles now obsolete. They just can't do that. they can't expect people to buy the Xbox Series X and the PlayStation 5 and then say, oh, guess what? We're going to make games that are only going to work for those consoles. So if you're getting that, if you don't get this, you can't get Grand Theft Auto 6. Because you need that mid-console refresh. They just can't do that. Like, there are still games that are being made for the PS4, Switch, and Xbox One. And as Take-Two has said already, they're going to continue supporting them. So, the console makers are going to have to justify to a large degree that they need these mid-console refreshes. And I don't think it can be native 8K or a higher refresh rate. I don't think that's going to fly. I think they're going to have to do something really big on this one. And I don't think a smaller form factor is going to do it either. I mean, they really have to justify that mid-console refresh. But am I surprised by this announcement? No. They got away with it last generation, and a lot of people said that the consoles needed it last generation because they came in underpowered in the beginning, and the new consoles were just not ready yet, so they needed those console refreshes, which I still don't really agree with and believe, but fine, whatever. I'll take your word for it. But now, I mean, they made the console refreshes of the last generation seem like this is an emergency, we have to do this. Like, we have no choice. But if we learn from the last generation, like, how many of those, how many games actually benefited from the console refreshes? Not many. Okay, so let's move on to the next story here. Take-Two CEO says that they are not seeing much pushback on $70 price tag in games. I mean, I'm not surprised by this either, but let's also be fair. The first game that they did that $70 price tag game was a game that no! Oh my god. Okay. It was a game that hardcore gamers were not really thrilled with, which was NBA 2K. And if I've talked about sports gamers enough, is that they will spend any amount of money to play those games every year. So if there was any game that was probably going to be quote-unquote justified in doing it, it was that game, because that subset of gamers are just used to the games being expensive. So on that end, that does not surprise me. Okay? I don't know what other games that Take-Two has had that were $70. There probably are a few. Oh, didn't they do, were they the ones that did Midnight Suns? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think it was them. But, yeah, like, I'm not surprised, because their biggest games are games where the audience is captive and they have no choice. Like, if you want to play an NBA game, you have no choice but NBA 2K. That's it. I mean, NBA Elite or NBA Live is not around anymore. NBA Jam is not around anymore. They literally have no choice but to play NBA 2K. So, of course, they're going to be fine with it, because they have no other damn choice. So, yeah, not a surprise that there was no pushback, because if they had pushback, the only option was don't play it. And as I have discussed, gamers have a really hard time being told, just don't play the game. But I digress. Okay, let us move on to the next story. Okay, Mortal Kombat 1 was announced for September. And the second game, it's going to be the second game on Switch that will be priced at $70. So, I liked Mortal Kombat 11. I did not finish the single player story mode. I probably will go back and finish it. But I ended up really enjoying the combat and playing the single-player modes on it a lot. I enjoyed it. It also looked pretty damn good for its time as well. And I was playing it on PC, so it looked really good on PC. But the unfortunate problem was that there was no crossplay. So when it came to playing people online, I was kind of screwed. So, and once that game died, it died. So I had literally no one to play against. So that kind of sucked. Hopefully Mortal Kombat 1 is going to be crossplay. If it's not, that would be a huge disappointment. But that being said, $70 for the Switch title, yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work. I mean, do I think it will still sell? Yes, I do. I still think it will sell. As much as that doesn't make me happy. But now, some people are justifying it saying, oh, well, if it's got the 32 gigabyte card, I mean, then that's fine. I'm going to guarantee you there's not going to be a 32 gigabyte card. Because these companies know right away that if it's not there, you'll buy it anyway. So, yeah. But as for the announcement of Mortal Kombat, I mean, it's the story trailer. I'm betting there's going to be some gameplay trailer on the PlayStation Showcase. I mean, it looks bloody and disgusting, which we're kind of used to right now. I've had a weird take on Mortal Kombat. I think the fighting has gotten a lot better. But a part of me kind of wishes that the fatalities were no more. I mean, my opinion on the fatalities are they're cool. Like, they're cool the first couple of times you use them. And then after that, they just get old. So, if they were to just say, you know, we're just going to have our combat be, or our fighting be a lot more gruesome and a lot more bloody and a lot more disgusting, I'd be fine with that. If they did it, that's fine, and they got rid of fatalities, I'd be fine with that. Like, fatalities were interesting in the past, but it was really the only thing that made Mortal Kombat unique. Because Mortal Kombat 1 as a fighting game was kind of bad. I mean, I know people love that game, but play it now and you're like, oh, this is really basic. But the fighting has improved. The gameplay itself has drastically improved. And it's a lot more fun now. And I don't think you need the crutch of doing fatalities anymore. Or if you want to make fatalities part of a combo, that might work. But yeah, I don't. That's like the only thing. I doubt they'll get rid of fatalities. There was a fatality in the end of the trailer, so I know I'm probably in the minority there. But yeah, I'm excited. I definitely want to try it out. But I hope there's. I hope there's crossplay. That's all I'm gonna. That's nothing. Oh no, not again! Oh, thank God. But yeah, I really hope there's crossplay in this. That's the only thing that I really want, is that there's crossplay. So when I want on the PC because the graphics and the fidelity of the game and the fidelity of the game and the high refresh rate of Mortal Kombat 11 was really appealing when I played it on PC last year, or the last time. Like, I liked that refresh rate. That was nice. But there has to be crossplay. Like, if there's no crossplay, that's a huge detriment and a huge disappointment on that end. So, I will purchase it on PC if it has crossplay. If it doesn't, I might not get it at all, because I have this fighting stick now, and I want to use it. I love fighting games, and it's for PC and Switch, and I am definitely not getting it on Switch. You can forget that. So I missed it. Yep. So yeah, Mortal Kombat 1 was announced. That we should probably see something, like I said, on the PlayStation Showcase coming up. And the final story, PlayStation CEO Jim Ryan says it's too early to judge the popularity of the PSVR 2. Yeah, there's one problem with that statement. No, this is the exact right time to judge the popularity of the PSVR 2. Why is that? Because it's out. You can judge popularity in a few ways. Sales and word of mouth. Okay? And I will tell you what. If the sales were good for the PSVR 2, we'd hear about it. And we aren't hearing shit about it from Sony. So my guess is that the sales have been pretty damn disappointing. And then the word of mouth part was for about a couple of days when it released, people were excited and really liked the kit. After that, no one's talked about it. So that's a dead system right there. So I think I'm comfortable in saying that the PSVR 2 isn't that popular. Call me crazy. Just call me crazy there. So I think, again, Jim Ryan's trying to spin the bad sales and the lack of talk around the PSVR 2. And there might be something amazing that comes up in the PlayStation Showcase that justifies that purchase. But as of right now, I think it's perfectly fair to say that the PSVR 2 is just not popular. But I will also say that I don't think VR goggles aren't as popular as they were like 5 years ago either. So there's that aspect as well. So yeah, Jim Ryan's trying to spin that it's too early to tell if the game system is a success. But let's all be honest with ourselves here. If the system sold really well, he would be shouting on the rooftops about how great the sales are. So this is just spin, and just him trying to justify that the fact that the sales are bad. And just saying, oh, it's too early to say. No, this is the perfect time to say. It's not doing very well. I am very comfortable in saying that. If he is going out there spinning this, it's not doing well. Period. Okay, guys. Well, that is it for this week's Weekly Dividend. Next week, I'm going to do some more gaming news roundups. Find out what happens throughout the week. I am not sure what I'm playing next week. I am leaning towards Arcade Paradise. But we will see on that end. I'm going to try and play games I haven't played before. I might play some favorites. Like, I still have the itch to play Rogue Legacy 2. So, that might happen. But I'm going to try and stick to games I haven't played. So, I think I'm going to try Arcade Paradise. I've heard good things about that. So, I'm going to check that out for next week. Tomorrow, I'll be recording the review of Licorice Pizza with Kim Shackman. And then Tuesday, me and Zero are going to review Howl's Moving Castle, the movie by Studio Ghibli and director Hayao Miyazaki. I'm really looking forward to that movie. Oh, man. I always look forward to a Miyazaki film. Oh, man. He is so good. But, yeah. Anyway, that is it for this week's Weekly Dividend. Tune in next time where I go over everything that happened the week of gaming news. I am The Wiz. This is Capital Games. Talk to you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to this podcast segment. The Capital Games podcast is done every week, and we post it on all your favorite podcast apps, as well as segments on YouTube. If you want to listen to another segment, you can listen to a new one right there on the screen. We also do a movie podcast called the Capital Games Movie Club. If you'd like, you can go ahead and click on that and see all the movies that we have reviewed from that point. Thank you for listening, and we hope to hear from you soon.